Hello and welcome to the first video of the course. Now this is just an introduction to Roblox, some other programs we might need, and some Roblox Studio basics. So first things first, if you do not have a Roblox account, you would just go type in Google Roblox, obviously. Go click here and it'll take you to a sign up page. And once you're done with that, you're going to go to a page similar to this. This is a home page. After that, we're going to go to create. And you might have a different setup. There's going to be a subtext after this like big text right here. I forgot what it says, but just go ahead and click that and it should take you to exactly to a page just like this. Now I already have some games here. You might not have these, obviously, don't worry about that. Just go ahead and download Roblox Studio, and afterwards it's going to take you to something looking like this. Now don't worry, obviously I have games here, you might not. You're just going to want to open this template. But before that, we're going to get into some programs we need as well. And that is Blender. Go in Google and type in Blender download, and it's going to take you exactly to a page like this. Go ahead and download that. Afterwards, go Google Substance Painter Steam, because it's cheaper on Steam. It's only $200. Don't go through Adobe. You're going to have to pay more. Now, if you don't want to buy this, you don't have to. We can always color in Roblox Studio with the colors that Studio has to offer. And after that, we can go to Roblox Studio. I was just saying, those are just some programs that we are going to use. Now, go ahead and just click on this template. I already have a template like that. I just changed the color of the base plate. If you want to change yours, you can just go to Workspace, Base Plate, and go to Brick Color and change it. Now, so how do we move around? WASD is the way we move around, just like in any game. And to move like this, you can just hold your right click and drag. And then if you want to drag your camera as well, just middle mouse. And then to select things, which there is nothing to select, but we would left click. So let's get a part in here just for an example. Now, obviously we have select, but if we don't, we can obviously not select anything. So we're just going to put that back on. And then we have 4 different things we can do: select, move, scale, rotate. Now instead of just clicking in order to change, we can just do 1, 2, 3, 4 on our keyboard and move around based like that. So to move, you can just press 2 or up here. Same for the all rest of the buttons. And then we can go 3 in the scales. Now, if we want to mirror scale, you can hold Control on your keyboard, and that will do whatever you do on one side to the other. And if we want to generalize the scale and scale everything, we can hold Alt, and that will scale everything. We can make it very, very, very big. And 4th thing is rotate. Now, if you are new and this is your first time, when you rotate, you might not be able to do it as seamlessly as I, because you'll have these checks on and it'll be like this. So just go ahead and uncheck those. And another thing that's very important is anchoring. So let's just say I have 2 parts here, right? We go ahead and select this one, anchor it, and this one not anchored. Let's go ahead, in order to select all that, just drag with your left click. And let's go play here. So I'm just gonna go play right here. See, one falls and one doesn't. So this is anchored and this isn't. So it's important to anchor our models, as we don't want our models falling everywhere. So we'll go ahead and stop. Just a quick example. And that's pretty much it for Blender Basics. You really don't have to worry about any of these except lighting and workspace. And it's not as hard as it looks. It might look intimidating at first, but trust me, it really isn't. And we might also dive around to editor, which is basically terrain, and a couple of these, but nothing insane. And that's it for this video. It's just a quick, brief introduction before we start any serious work, and I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome everybody to the second video of the course. Today we're going to be going over Blender Basics. So as soon as you open Blender, you're going to see a square right here. You're just going to go ahead and just click anywhere off that, and it will take this, and my screen will be exactly what you're seeing. Now, don't worry about this. I have this on so you can see exactly what I am doing. That way you're not confused or anything. Now, we're not going to be making anything specific. That's for the next video. We're just going to be going over controls and some other things. That way we know exactly how to move, and this will speed up the workflow process. That way you can catch up and do exactly what I'm doing on screen. And also on the next video, I'll also leave my keys screencasted. That way you can see exactly what I'm doing. No questions asked. Now let's begin. So as soon as you're here, to move, you're going to want to hold your middle mouse button, and this is going to drag it. Now, if we want to go a little more, we can hold shift and drag. And that, to be honest, that's exactly the two things we're going to be doing most of the time, other than obviously making stuff. But to move in here, just drag the middle mouse, hold it, unhold, shift. Now, just do that for a minute or two and you'll be as good as me. Now, we want to get rid of these things. So we're going to click A, press A, click X, and delete. Or you can just delete. Now, obviously, if you make a mistake, you can Control Z, but we don't need these, so we can just go ahead and delete. Now, to add a shape, Shift A is exactly what we're going to be doing all of the time. So cube, we can add a cube, or we can go Shift A again, cylinder, or we can go Shift A again, add a cone, undo. We can go add a torus, and we can even add a monkey. This is a famous Blender monkey, by the way. You might have seen that before if you keep up with like 3D modelers and stuff. Anyways, for the sake of this video, we're going to add a cube. And let's say we want two shapes in here. So to get this out of the way, we can just press G and move that out of the way. So, and to add another shape, we can go Shift A again, add a cylinder. Let's say that's too many vertices on one. We can go click this, go to 16. Most low poly people use 8, but sometimes you can use 16 as well. Now, if we want to be very precise when we're moving a shape, we can go G, and then there's only 3 axes, X, Y, and Z. So we can go G, X, and that will move it this way on the X axis, G, Y, that will move it on the Y axis, and then G, Z, which will move it on the Z axis. Now let's just move this on the Z axis for now. Let's add another shape. Let's add a cone this time. So GZ, and let's get it out this way. So GX, and that way we can perfectly get them both out of the way here. Now, to build off this shape. Now, so we want to go to edit mode. We're going to be most of the time in object mode or edit mode. So you can see that over here. If you click on there, we can go to edit mode. But a faster way to do that would be clicking tab. Now, after that, there's 3 modes inside that edit mode, which is vertices, lines, and then faces. Now we're going to be going back and forth all 3 of these for most of the time. Now, if you go and if you click on one and then just G, you change the shape already. Undo. Let's go click on a line. Changing the shape already. Understand? Click on the face. Changing the shape already. Let's go ahead and just extract. Now, extracting is probably the most common thing you're going to be doing for most of the time because it just changes the shape all the time. I'll show you an example. So E, enter, S to scale, and then pressing E again. You already see we have a shape going on here. And if we just control that and press E and then click right there, you can see we already had to have this box here. Now, let's say I want to scale this. Let's go and press S and then just drag. So S, drag, same thing for this one. S, drag, S, drag. If I want to rotate it, you can just press R and it will rotate. Now that isn't always a great way to rotate. So we can go R, X on the X axis and then press 90 and that will rotate it for us on the X axis. We can go R, Z, 10. See, that changes it a little bit. It's a better way to rotate. Now, if we want to change angles, we can go hit on the squiggly line right under escape key in the keyboard. And that's going to open a couple angles. Let's go to the top here, select, and then we can rotate this way. That's also a great way to rotate. Now, back to extracting here. Let's say we want to make, I don't know, a stick or something. We can go G, we can go to object mode, edit mode, select the face, remember, select the face, G, Z again. Oh, to zoom in and out, by the way, just middle mouse. And then select, scale it. We have like some weird stick here, some weird low poly stick here. And then we can like extract it if we want in some weird way. You know, you can just make some really cool things about, and I think that's what's really cool about it. See, we kind of have like this low poly candy cane shape or something, or some weird branch here. Okay, that brings me to my next point. Wireframe is really important because it allows us to see through everything. So if we go click on Z, you can see these two, solid wireframe, solid and wireframe. There's also rendered a material preview, but we don't need those. Let's just go and click on wireframe. And it's basically the same thing as you would in edit mode. It's just this time you can see through everything. So if I wanted to, let's say, select this point around here, I see I'm not able to see that because this is blocking, this side is blocking my view from getting over here, right? So if I click on Z wireframe, I can select through it. I'm not limited anymore. So that's pretty useful at times, and we'll see that as we dive more into the course. And let's move on to this cone here. So let's say we want to rotate it and make it like ice cream or something. We can go RX 180. Now that's starting to look more like a cone. Let's go to edit mode. Remember, you can go over here, or you can click on tab. Let's go to face. Let's press E, click, or E, enter, and then scale after that. Let's go E again. Let's say we want to make ice cream. So let's add an icosphere, basically like a low poly ball. And then let's go to front, squiggly line, remember? Squiggly line, and then front. And let's go G. And let's just place it. We can go GX to move it. And we kind of got like this weird low poly ice cream. Maybe we can go Z it down a little bit. We have like a snow cone or something. Now, those are just some Blender basics. We're going to definitely dive more into as we go on and on. We're going to go to modifiers and some other stuff like that. I guess I can show you the mirror modifier real quick. So let's add a cube. Let's go to squiggly line right under the escape key and click on front. G, move it here. Now let's do a cut right smack down on the cube. Go to edit mode and press Control R. And this is just going to add a line. Now we can add more if we zoom, if we use our middle mouse button, if we scroll on it. But let's just add one and click and then press enter. So that we're free from Blender. LOL. Let's go, let's select this one. So to select, we'll go Alt. We can select all around with Alt because if we just select and then click Shift, it's longer. So let's just do Alt. And that's just actually a tip. We're not going to need to do that. Now this is where wireframe comes in. We can go wireframe, click on B and select this whole half. And then we can go press delete and faces, or we can just go X and then faces. Go back into object mode, solid, and then click on modifier and search in mirror. So you might see, oh, it's back. It's really just copying this side. So if we go on here, let's say we at E, press enter, scale down, click. You can see it's copying exactly what I'm doing on this side to the other side. Now, like I said, we're going to be diving more into this type of stuff and Blender as we move forward in the course. Now, the next video, we're going to be making some medieval items, and we're going to be making like a 4 medieval pack. So like a barrel, a wooden cart, etc. And that's it for this video, and I will catch you in the next. Welcome back, everybody, to the third video of the Noob to Pro Roblox modeling series. Today, we're going to be making some more items and understanding that most of the models begin with a basic shape, and they all go through similar Blender functions and modifiers. I shouldn't say functions, they are more like modifiers. But basically, we're just going to be making 4 assets that kind of fit the medieval vibe. We're going to be making a barrel, a lamp, a wheel cart, and stuff like that. I think maybe just a lamp after that. So once you open up Blender, you'll probably see what I see right now. And you're just going to want to click anywhere and that'll pop up, just go away. After that, we're going to want to delete everything in our scene. So to do that, you're going to want to just press A, X, and delete everything. Afterwards, we're going to want to import our barrel, which will basically start from a cylinder. So Shift A, go to Mesh, go to Cylinder. Afterwards, click on that little button here, and you're going to see something called vertices here. Now, this is going to add more or less to your barrel.
Or your cylinder, my fault.
We're going to want to keep it at a 8, and that gets a good low poly fit. I'm going to want to scale this up a little bit. I also added the screencast keys so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You can pause, you can go back until you get it right. Afterwards, we're going to want to go to edit mode and loop cut. You can also press tab to go back and forth to edit mode and object mode. Way easier. Afterwards, we're going to want to scale this, and then we're going to add another loop cut. We're going to want to select this with Alt. Oh, yep. And then Shift to get more of those. There we go. You're going to want to click on these little things, these lines. Afterwards, you want to scale it up just a bit more. Yeah, that's good. Afterwards, go to face mode. Hold Shift while selecting faces, and we're going to want to extrude. Now, you could just do E, but a better way to do this would probably just be Alt E. It's the same thing, really, but I don't know, something different about it. Then you're going to want to go to face mode. Then you're going to want to hold down Shift and Alt while holding on the corners, and that's going to select everything. And then we're going to want to separate this from this main cylinder. So you're going to want to press P, selection, and that's going to separate everything. Afterwards, we're going to want to go to top view. Now, usually number pads, you could just press 7 and that'll do it. But if you don't have that, you could just go here and that works too. And we're going to press 5, which was puts us into like a perfect camera angle so that we can see everything. Then you're going to want to up here to this chain link and go to 3D cursor and press Shift C. And that's going to put everything in the middle so that when we duplicate everything, it goes all around this cylinder here in a perfect, it's going to make a perfect barrel basically. Now to duplicate, just press Alt D, R, and then 45. And then we're going to want to duplicate all of this all around. So to do that, just press Shift R. And this is going to create a link between all those planks you just made. Now, if you want to unlink that, which we don't have to, but if you did, you're going to want to go to this triangle here and press that number and do it all for all the other links that you have. But like I said, we don't need that right now, so we're not going to do that. So just go back to this main here. Go to edit mode, go to face mode, which we are in, G. And we're going to want to pull it down on the Z axis here. Get that nice barrel shape. Then we're gonna wanna go back here. And what we do to this one applies to all the others. So we can just go back to line mode, select this with your left mouse click and press F. Now this is gonna add a face. Actually, we're gonna get this top one too. Now this is gonna add our face, and that creates that nice little detail there. We're gonna wanna select everything with A, scale it on the Z axis just a bit. Now we're gonna wanna get the metal part into this. So Shift A again, cylinder, 8 again. Oh, go back here, go back to that chain medium point. That's very important. Scale it down a little bit. I want to scale that up too. I'm going to scale this again. Now duplicate. You could do Alt D, or you could do Shift D. Shift D would probably be better in this case. And go RX 180. Now this just rotated it on the X axis 180 degrees. And now we're going to use G and Z. Put that back down. And now we have the perfect barrel. Really, really nice. And that is our first asset created. We're going to want to select everything, or you could just go to wireframe using the Z button. Remember, we only use solid and wired frame, really. We don't use these other ones. Now, just a little trick, actually. Just go to matte cap, and you're going to want to select cavity. And this brings out like the details on your model. You could put type. I usually put both. It's just pretty nice to see. There's also different matte caps in here. I know a couple of people use this one. Some use this one. Some use that one. But we're just going to stick with this one. It's pretty nice. Now we're going to want to select everything and put that aside for now. And then we're going to make our wooden cart. Now, like I said, everything is really easy if you just break it down. A wooden cart like this one, let me show you. A wooden cart like this one, for example, is very simple. As you can see, it's really just a cube, and it's scaled up. Now we're going to make our own version of this, and I'll show you exactly how you can do that. Also, if you need help finding references, just go on Google Images, search up low poly this, low poly that, low poly barrel, whatever you want to make low poly. Obviously, it doesn't have to be low poly, but most of Roblox nowadays is low poly, and it just has that nice vibe. You can also use ArtStation, DeviantArt, Pinterest. I know a couple of people use Pinterest. I personally use Pinterest a lot as well, but Google Images is on my top 2 as well. Now we're just going to want to go ahead and, again, add just a cube, Shift A, mesh, cube. Now all that it is just scaled, really. So just go scale it on the X axis, and then scale it on the Z axis. Scale it just a little more there, and then scale it right here. Now, the low poly has this like beautiful imperfection. So we're going to add some like loop cuts and just kind of like mess with it a little bit. You're going to want to click on that. You can also just click on the lines here, and we're just going to move it up and down at random. We're actually going to go to wireframe with the Z button. And if I'm repeating stuff a lot, it's just so that you guys have a good gist of how the things work here. That should be good. Nice little imperfect wooden plank. And we're basically going to duplicate this, Shift D. Also use Alt D if you want, but Shift D is better in this case. And we're going to move that. Then we're going to rotate it on the X axis 180. That kind of makes it seem like it's different. We can also just go back here and just, and then just do that one more time. This time we're going to edit this part. You got one side there. Now what we're gonna wanna do is that we're gonna grab all of these and Control J them. And that's gonna make it as one. Then afterwards, we're gonna go to this wrench, click on mirror, put it right on the middle, best you can, go to edit mode, and then just, you see how it just, and it basically just adds this mirror effect. So basically whatever we do on this side goes back on this side. And then we're gonna add a plank. So it's gonna be our floor in the wheel cart. Now to do this, we're just gonna add another cube. But you see, it's just all cubes. Scale it. Make sure it hits here. So we're just gonna put it here temporarily, just to see how that looks. All right, it's not long enough. See? I'm gonna add a little bit of length, just a little bit. Now we're just gonna duplicate this one more time. Add that add that nice little gap. It's definitely gonna be more apparent when you duplicate it a couple of times. Gonna add that nice effect. See that? See those lines? Pretty sick. That down, add another one here, grab all those, scale it just a little bit so it's nice and tight.
Pause.
Then afterwards, we're gonna add some supporters on these planks here. So click on it, and now anything that you add on this side is definitely gonna be here on this side, basically just the mirror effect, obviously. Click on cube. Make sure it's not clipped, because if you clip it, you're gonna have that problem. So make sure it's not clipped as of right now. Scale it. Like that. Rotate. We're just gonna add some supporters right here. And just mess around with it. We're gonna duplicate it, Shift D, move it on the Y axis. It on the Y axis one more time. Add some loop cuts. We're trying to get that nice imperfect feel to it. And basically, good start to our wooden cart here. Now we're gonna make some wheels. To do that, just want to click on, I think cylinder would be better for this. About, let me see, 10. 10 would be good. Rotate this RX 90 degrees. Click on that face. Now we're gonna extract, press enter, and then scale it about 1/8. Now do the same thing on the other side. You could mirror that, but it's just faster if we do it like this. Grab both with shift, then faces. Go to the line mode here. And then click on the corner and then just continue to press F, and it's just gonna automate those fill gaps for us. We gotta still click on the F, but gets the job done. Then we're gonna want to see what else we need. We're gonna add another cylinder. Same vertices. Make sure to rotate that and scale pretty thin here. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect because low poly kind of has that nice messy vibe to it. Just see if it fits here nice. Yeah, it does. Then we're gonna add some loop cuts here. Just add them around every corner here. This is gonna add a nice touch to our wheel. Also, if you have those problems, just Shift H, Alt H, Shift H hides, Alt H brings it back. We're gonna hide it. Add those loop cuts. And then we're gonna wanna, let's actually bring this back, Alt H, go back into edit mode, press E, bring it up. Same thing here, I didn't add loop cuts here. Click on those two faces, then bring up, bring up, bring up. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna add it on that one. We'll see. Bring up, bring up, bring up. See? Yeah, we'll just add them. So just add those loop cuts here. And we're just gonna add some here too, because it looks a little bit uneven if we don't. Yeah, that's a nice wheel. What we're gonna wanna do, this is gonna be the front of it, so we're just gonna grab E, enter, then scale it. And we're gonna add a nice little middle part here. It's just a nice little touch. And we're gonna grab both of them, Control J. That's gonna bring it as one. So we're gonna wanna rotate this on the Z axis 90 and scale it a little bit on 2 axes actually. Then we're gonna move it. It's a little short for a wheel. That might be good. Maybe it's too small, so let's give it just a bit more here. Kind of just fit in that little gap right there. And then let me see which side it is. Okay, so we're actually gonna rotate this just so that it can fit on this side, and then we could just mirror it and we don't have to do some more work. So press L and then like drag your cursor to whatever you're trying to select and then just press L. If you do something wrong, just Control Z. And then we want to Shift D this, click on that. Click on it after you click Shift D, because then you can't use the G tool, which is just good. So Shift D, then click. You're not going to see it right away, but trust me, it's there. G, and then Y, and then just drag it nice. Could be a bit better. Yeah, it's pretty good. I actually want to bring this. Yeah, bring it around there. Then we're going to add some final touches here. We're just going to add that nice little, I don't know what it is. It's just a piece of wood, basically. Let me see. Yeah, just add this to the mirror part. Oops. Deselect everything, select that with the L button. Keep putting it on the wrong axis here. Go to wireframe, because this is going to allow you to see. So that part I want to see because I want to connect it. Now I could kind of see already, but wireframe's just better. Then we'll connect it right there. I think it's too close. Go back to wireframe. Go back to solid. That's better. We're gonna add those imperfect. Oh, you see that it's kind of cutting in there. So let's just drag it on the Z axis just a bit. Yeah, that's fine. And we're gonna add some loop cuts here. We're just gonna add some random little imperfections. Ooh, I'm not on the vertex. I don't want to be on the vertex mode. And then boom, we have our wooden cart. Pretty nice. Good stuff so far. Next, we're going to want to make a axe. Now, the axe, we're going to use something called a reference while we're also making it in Blender. So you're not only looking at it on another screen or on the same screen, it's going to be in Blender while you're making it. So to do this, you want to go on Google or wherever and find a nice reference that you can like kind of copy it. So save it and put it somewhere. I'm gonna call this axe prints. And I'm gonna save it to my downloads. Then we're gonna go to Blender. You're gonna want to press Shift A and then go to image and then background. And then click on wherever you saved your file. And that's going to add a nice little reference here. We're going to want to put that here for now. We're going to want to go to this image icon here. And we're going to scale this opacity down. Make sure to check it. Now we're going to add our item in. So let's add a plane. A plane is just like a cube. It just doesn't have all those other faces in it. We're going to rotate this and we're going to go to wireframe mode. Boom, this is goated. And then go to vertices and then just kind of like trace it. We're just going to extract it a couple times and then fix it. Extract it one more time. Oops, I lied. 2 more times. Yeah, there we go. And now we have our axe. Now we're just going to get rid of this by clicking it and X and deleting it. And now we have our axe here. We're just going to want to select everything and extract it. That should be pretty good. Then we're just going to add our handle. We can just grab a cylinder. 10 should be fine as well, but we're going to want to scale this up a bit. It should be fine. We're going to move this G, Y axis. Go to wireframe, select that, make sure you're in vertices mode, extract and just scale. You can also add like some loop cuts here. Go to wireframe and then just extract, press enter. So E, enter, and then scale it. And then we're gonna wanna scale that down on the Z axis. We can scale it right back up. And that adds a nice little detail. We can do the same thing somewhere down here. That adds a nice little detail to our axe, which is looking a bit thick.
Pause.
You're just going to want to move that down here. It's pretty good. Control J that. And we got a pretty good axe. Just scale it down a bit. Scale it back up a little bit, actually, so I can see it better. Now we have our axe. Now our final thing would be a medieval type of lamp. Again, you could just find all these references on Google Images, Pinterest, ArtStation, wherever you want. Search up low poly, you'll find a bunch. Just pick one and just stick with it. Now for a medieval lamp, it's basically a piece of wood and some metal with a light. So we're just gonna grab a cube. Mostly everything you've ever seen has originated from a cube. It all started with a cube and just got extracted like a whole bunch. Add a loop cut, deselect everything. You could also just click on that face here. That looks a bit too thin. Just grab it like that. And it still looks a bit thin. That's too thick. Pause. That should be better. Now we're gonna add a link. Now you could just do that by doing a torus, going 12, 12, and then rotate this, scale it a bit. Might look a little funky at first, but it'll definitely be good. And then duplicate it, and then rotate it on the Z axis. And then just duplicate this one again. Make sure it kind of aligns here. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah. And then a lamp. We're gonna make the lamp separate. That's just way easier. And then it kind of just, let me see. Oh, okay, yeah. So just press E, enter, then E again, and then scale. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Then scale, well, oh, actually, bring this up a bit, then scale. Down, go press E, press enter. See our lamp kind of taking shape already. SE and then enter. And then one more time. Looks a bit too. We don't want to bring this up. Kind of make sure it aligns here. You can actually kind of break into it a bit. Oof, that looks way too big. We're gonna want to actually scale these a bit down too. And now we have a medieval lamp. That one doesn't look as cool as the others, but it's a lamp. Bring that back a little closer. And now we have a whole medieval asset pack. And make sure you go back and apply this because it could cause problems. It depends what you're trying to do, but it's always pretty safe to just mirror it. Like if you're UV wrapping, don't apply the mirror effect just yet because then it's going to like lock it in place and it might be an issue to like go back and like just Control Z, which I could do now. But like when you're in the workflow and in midst of process,
you could lose your Control Z undos because you've already made like 52 moves and you can't go control all the way back to when you applied the mirror effect. So it depends what you're trying to do. Have a little foreshadowing, but in this case, we're good. So in the next video, we're going to take all this and texture it. I'll show you 2 ways. So the first way, which is going to be the easy way, is basically just exporting it all and then coloring in Roblox Studio. And then the second way is UV wrapping and importing into Substance, then exporting it into Studio. So I'll catch you in the next one.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over how to export. It's going to be a very short video, but a very important one. So in order to export, what we want to do is we click on the item that we want to export. Instead of separating them, which would be a hassle, Roblox Studio has a feature when you import as a .fbx file, it breaks and splits everything from one file. Right? So let's just get this done now. So go to edit mode, press P, and go loose parts. Now, these are going to be the same color. There's only going to be 2 colors. Actually, let's go 3 colors. So everything that's going to be in the same color, we want to select and then join, Control J. Let me actually go ahead and put on my screencast keys over here. All right, so you're going to want to select everything and Control J. And that is just for our wood. Then we got these top things here. Oh, that face is missing. Well, we don't even need it. So no need to worry about that. And then we also got our metal pieces over here. So we can just Control J that. Next, what we want to do, but we don't have to, is name our pieces. So let's just call this planks. Let's just select this, call that metal, and then we'll select this and just call this wood. Then what we're going to want to do is just highlight everything. So B, drag, and highlight. We're going to go to File, Export, .fbx. We could do OBJ, but like I said, FBX has a feature and just shortens everything for us. So after that, we're going to want to go into the folder that we have everything in. Then go to Selected Objects. Go down, go to Scale, and let's set this to 0.01. Because if we don't, it's going to be really huge in Studio. Next, we're just going to want to go and rename this to Roblox Barrel, or whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to go export FBX. And that's how you export items from Blender. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to import your export files from Blender. And welcome back. In this video, we're going to be going over how to import files from Blender. Okay, so once you've exported your item as an FBX using the export process we went through, we're going to want to go to Asset Manager. Now, if you don't have this, you can go to View and click on Asset Manager. Afterwards, you're going to want to right click on Meshes and go Add Meshes. Now, find where you put your file and go Open. And this pop-up is going to happen. Just click on Apply. Now, you'll see that Roblox Studio has split our items even though we only have one file. So this is why this is a great feature. After they're completed, you're going to want to go ahead and select all of them and go Insert with Location. Now we have what we made in Blender inside Studio. Now be sure that everything that you have selected does not surpass 10,000 triangles. And I'll show you exactly how to check this. All right, so we're back in Blender where we exported. Now you can't tell if what we have selected is over 10K. So you're going to want to go over here and go to Statistics. and you'll see that everything in the file is 4,600, but everything that we've selected in this barrel here is only 364 triangles. So we are completely safe. And that is exactly how you import files into Roblox Studio. In the next one, we're going to be going over coloring and materials using Roblox Studio. So I'll see you in the next one.